glorify you, Jesus. Magnify you, Lord. You're worthy of the glory, Lord.
The kingdom of heaven is at hand. In our last message a couple of weeks ago, we concluded with the fact that we should never allow our expectation to be our reality without a plan to get there. And today we'll look more in depth and conclude looking at the prefrontal cortex, because again, this is the part of the brain where the attention span, perseverance, judgment, impulse control, organization, self-monitoring, problem solving, critical thinking, forward thinking, learning from experience, feeling and expressing emotions, and interacting with the deep limbic system happens. And the woman with the issue of blood, which is our scripture that we started out with in Matthew 9, the woman with the issue of blood had to do some critical and some forward thinking. Because one of the things you have to understand and realize, and I want you to really take into account some things, because all of the things that happened to you this week were by no coincidence. Everybody had something different taking place. Different things transpiring, even down with last week with the snowstorm and all of those things. All of those things happen to us to help you understand what you will do in critical thinking. See, a lot of times the things that you really think are so much wrapped around the enemy, it's actually God using a situation to get you to understand how to think critically and move forward from that thing. And the reason that I wanted everybody to go out last week during the snowstorm is because I wanted you to understand, if you will think it through, you can do it.
Right.
But the things that you won't think through, you can't do. And see, some things you shut them down before you're like, oh, this happened to me the last time, so I ain't even thinking about that. I ain't even giving it a chance.
Amen.
And the problem with that is that he keeps giving you chances to teach you how to get over it.
All right.
He keeps giving you chances to teach you how to get over it. Watch this. Before it's something that's real critical that you need to do. Because what you got to understand is, sometimes, because here's the thing, you haven't found anything of value, of high enough value, that you will push through that thing that has caused you a problem for so long. Because I guarantee you, when you find something of high enough value on the other side of that problem, you'll do it. You'll figure out a way. Let me say your life depends on you getting across that snowstorm. I bet you get across it.
Yes.
Let me say, okay, the life of your closest person in your life depends upon you getting out and you dealing with this.
It's done.
You'll get out. You're going to figure out a way.
That's right.
You will figure out a way. And that's the whole point. I wanted you to do it out of fun. It really wasn't anything that was pressing or pushing, but I just wanted you to get out and experience it. That's a part of it. See, because as we go through the rest of this message, you're going to see what really goes on with your prefrontal cortex. You're really going to start to understand how forward thinking begins to establish a lifestyle for you. And how if you don't establish forward thinking, then your lifestyle either stays the same as it is or goes backwards. Because the key that you got to understand is as we look at Matthew 9, look at Matthew 9 verses 20 through 22. It says, "And behold, a woman which was diseased with an issue of blood for how long? 12 years. So for 12 years, she had this problem. For 12 years, for 12 years, she wakes up every day, every night, every day, every midday, every breakfast, every lunch, every dinner, every conversation, every fight, every happy moment, every birthday, every death of somebody else, every problem of somebody else. No matter what else was going on, she had this going on with her for 12 years. See, when you think of it like that, and then you fussing about your cold that you had for 3 days, and you act like the world was ending. I can't breathe. Why God doing this to me? For 3 days. 3 days. You acting like it's the end of the world. And here this woman is 12 years. Because see, here's the thing about you and your cold. You and your cold, you can still go to work. And everybody ain't gonna hide away from you, and everybody ain't gonna get away from you, and nobody's gonna shun you, and nobody's gonna jump on the other side of the sidewalk whenever they see you coming. See, this woman with the issue of blood, what you gotta understand about when someone knew that they had this issue of blood, they were considered unclean. She had to walk around and say, "I'm unclean. You can't come near me." For 12 straight years. You can't come near me. I can't interact with you. I'm unclean. So it wasn't like she could just keep going through life normal. Once she had that issue, it now brought forth other things that she had to do just to interact with other people. So now, when you start thinking about that she has this issue, and you start to look at your issues ain't nothing compared to her issues. So I want you to understand, and the reason I'm laying all of that out is because I want you to understand the rest of this. Because it says, she came behind him and touched the hem of his garment. Now by her coming and touching the hem of his garment, she was risking being killed. See, that's why I put that in perspective like that with the snowstorm. She was risking being killed by somebody else because for 12 years she's been letting everybody know she's unclean. Now all of a sudden she pushing up in the crowd to get to the hem of Jesus's garment. It ain't like they didn't know who she was.
That's right.
It ain't like they didn't know her state.
That's right.
But she got to a point that she didn't care because she knew that her solution was on the other side of that obstacle.
All right.
That's right.
See, because until you see a solution to a problem that you've had for a long time on the other side of an obstacle that you're scared to come up against. Until you see that there's a solution on the other side of that, you'll keep avoiding it. You'll say, I ain't getting out in that.
Sure is.
I ain't doing that.